Good morning. Have you ever really thought about the fact that there are actually two people inside your own head? And now, no, I'm not talking about schizophrenia. I'm talking about the type of person you become when certain things arise, certain events, certain emotions arise. The kind of person where you are at your lowest and the kind of person you are when you are at your best. Those two people, I like to call them the lower self and the higher self. And I learned this subject quite a long time ago, and it made everything clear and come into perspective for myself based on the fact that most of what you do and most of what you take action on a day-to-day basis are most of the time on autopilot. And you need to be careful what you feed that autopilot, because if you feed it more of the lower self, you're going to end up being more lazy, more procrastinating, like more prone to procrastination, more focused on shit activities that don't necessarily help you push towards your goals faster, that don't help you build something, that don't help you to create something for yourself, that do not provide any value to other people. And on the contrary, you've got the higher self, which is the exact opposite. It's like, even when you're tired, even when you're exhausted, even when you feel like giving up, you don't. That's the higher self. The higher self is everything and anything that you actually want. Everything that you've outlined, your goals, your purpose, the people you love, and the acts of loyalty and trust and positivity that you do towards them. And I think everybody should take some time and really just be aware that those are the two types of people you could be. You could be, if you're always like fed negative emotions, negative feelings, and negative energy, basically you're going to be more prone to your lower self, because you don't want to do a bunch of shit extra. You don't want to push that extra mile. You don't want to run more. You don't want to work out more. You don't want to work on your business. You don't want to create a content. You don't want to do all this because you're lazy. And that might be because you didn't get enough sleep. That might be because you didn't eat properly. That might be because you didn't get enough sunlight. The basics, basically. If you don't take care of your health, you're going to be more prone to the lower self, which is a problem. So you need to make sure that you have your vitals in check. So you need to be working out constantly. You need to be drinking a bunch of water. You need to be taking in the sunlight on your skin. Even if there's clouds, it doesn't matter. There's still light outside. Unless it's nighttime, you can still get the sunlight. And then you need to get enough sleep. Those are the basics. There's 4 things really. Exercise daily, eat good food, drink a bunch of water, sleep, and get sunlight. Those are the 5 things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis if you want your energy levels to be higher, so you are more easily swayed towards the higher self rather than the lower self. That's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing that ties into the higher self and how to tap into it is critically thinking and reminding yourself to wake up. Like, snap yourself awake and wake up. Start thinking positively. Start thinking about what it is you actually want to do. Start thinking about stuff that actually matters. And don't just stay in autopilot all the time. Because if you stay in autopilot all the time, what's going to end up happening is you're going to be more prone to the lower self, and you're going to end up going back to who you used to be. which is not necessarily who you might enjoy being. Because if you go back in the past, you are probably less smart, less intelligent, less aware, less physically active, all that sort of stuff that is basically your previous past self, which is something you need to sacrifice in order to become your best version of yourself. Improve it. Improve daily. Very important. So, if you want to actually make sure that you're more prone to the higher self, you need to always be thinking about your goals, everything that you're doing, and think about, does what I'm doing right now make me and help me progress towards what I want to achieve? And if the answer is no, then think about what is going to help you achieve that goal. What is going to help you push forward towards getting what you actually want? Pushing forward and just thinking about what it is you need to do, what it is you have to do, what it is, and just start making a list, bro. Don't just make a list and fucking forget about it. Make a list in your own mind, and you can also like write it on a piece of paper if you want, so that way you can put it like on, like, I don't know, above your bed or above your workstation or above your fridge, on your fridge with a piece of duct tape. You can just chuck a piece of paper on there and be like, remember X, Y, and Z, or like, this is what you need to do today, or like, this is what we're striving towards, this is our goal, this is our purpose. And just constantly remind yourself, so that way it is easier for you to click into awareness, into that awareness-like state. And it makes everything easier for you to actually take some time and be like, what it is do I actually need to do today? And what it is that I was about to do that is actually not what I should be doing. Common example. You go to the supermarket when you're hungry, and you see a bunch of stuff that you used to eat, like I don't know if you used to eat candy or potato chips or fucking just a bunch of junk food, basically stuff that is super saturated in sugar or salt or any of the kind of garbage that is super ultra processed, basically food. And you say like, oh, I really want to get this, and you get it, and then you eat it, and you feel like complete and utter shit. Because your body, if you stop eating that junk, that crap, your body is going to go back to its natural state of eating whole foods and natural foods and not having a shitload of salt and sugar. And whenever you eat that much salt and sugar, you're going to be so saturated in one single fucking thing that you just immediately want to go to sleep, or immediately want to scroll on your phone, or immediately be prone basically to the lower self. So you need to be careful. I personally do everything in a very logical, rational, and thought out way. It's like, okay, what do I need to eat? What would be a good thing to eat right now? And just measure the consequences of my actions. Like, okay, I might want to eat some potato chips because I used to eat a bunch of them when I was a kid. So I have that small temptation in the back of my mind of, oh, I really kind of want to taste that again. But when I actually eat them, I feel like complete shit. So I know that since I don't want to feel like shit because I need my energy to work on my business, then I'm just not going to eat them. I'm not going to buy them. And this is very common for most entrepreneurs, because having the highest energy levels as possible is extremely helpful, since at the start you're probably the only person working on the business. So if you stop working, the business stops working. That's basically what it is. So I can speak from experience here. I remember at the start, when I started my business, I kind of was eating still a bit shit, and I used to be tired most of the time. I used to be like, what the fuck? Like, how can I get more energy? And so I did a bunch of research, And I got a bunch of people that told me like, oh, what it is I actually needed to do. And it put everything into perspective that it's actually not that hard. You just need to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and until your body feels like, oh yeah, this is a new normal. Like, it's fine. Like, don't add any salt to anything. Don't add any sugar. Keep it natural. Keep it like as natural as possible. Don't add any additives. Don't add any fucking crap. Don't eat the processed food. Just focus on eating stuff that is healthy. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, meat, dairy, all that kind of stuff that is natural, that is straight from the source. Just focus on eating that. Do not add any sauce. Do not add that much seasoning. Like, you can add some seasoning, I guess, from time to time. But make sure the seasoning you add on your food, including sauces, because the problem is, that is like one of the biggest problems in today's society. People just love fucking mustard and ketchup and fucking mayo and fucking all that shit. Ranch, whatever the fuck, barbecue. So what I prefer is, because in all of those fucking sauces, there's like shitloads of sugar and salt. Basically, that's why you feel like shit after eating that. But if on the other hand, you make a homemade sauce, you cook up some meat, and you get the juices from that fat that melted into the fucking pan or into the oven, like into the oven tray, and you get that sauce, and then you use that sauce as a sauce. You use that liquid at the bottom as a sauce. And if you do that, I promise you that you will not go back to just eating shit sauces all the time. Like, if you have a really like juicy steak that just bleeds onto the plate, you can use that as the sauce, and it will make everything taste better. You don't need all that processed shit. You can focus on keeping it as simple as possible. Like, for instance, one of the meals I do really enjoy is, for example, some eggs, some minced beef, and then putting some paprika and some honey in that. Making sure the honey is 100% raw honey is very important, because some of the people that process the honey, they add shit in it. So you gotta be careful. You gotta look at the packaging. So I really like just putting honey in the beef with the eggs, because it makes it taste better, makes it taste sweet. And the honey is pretty natural. It's one of the closest things that you can get to natural. So I would say stuff like that. So paprika, all of the what's it called? All of the pepper, sweet chili pepper, all of the, what's it called? Spices. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. All the different spices do not really increase the saturated levels of salt and sugar in your meal, and makes it taste differently. So I do heavily suggest either using spices. I do not personally like spices, but that's my own personal preference. So either spices, or keep it as natural as possible. Like I said, honey, or something that comes from, like, I don't know, like a fruit or meat or anything that you can basically craft by yourself. Like, for instance, vinegar, I'm pretty sure, comes from fermented grapes and fermented wine. So that's fine. Like, if there's no added stuff in it, I would say that's all right. You choose what you put in your body. So if you want higher energy, just do what I'm talking about, and you'll see the difference. Like, you don't have to do as I say because I said so. Like, you can just test it, and you can see for yourself that the difference. So that is extremely important if you want to be more prone to the higher self, is making sure that your vitals and your health is in check. Second thing is You need to make sure that you are constantly snapping yourself into a state of awareness and being like, okay, what it is I actually need to do today, what it is I actually need to focus on if I want to progress towards achieving what I want and the goals I want and all of that. And then put some reminders around your house. If you forget and you go back to the autopilot state, just put a few things around your house so that way you remember. It'll make it extremely easy for you guys to remember your goals if you have visual reminders around your house. I personally work way better on a visual representation rather than a listening to someone representation. So this is why I'm recording these videos, but I do understand that I might be switching downstairs where I have my whiteboard where I can draw some stuff on it so that you have a better representation of what I'm talking about. So that could be a good representation. I saw a couple of different people that have YouTube channels and that kind of do the same thing here as what I'm doing, but instead of speaking to the camera, what they do is they speak over the camera and they draw a bunch of stuff on a whiteboard, and that's the support that they use as a background. So like people like Alex Hormozy, I'm pretty sure I saw him. He had this huge piece of paper that he would just roll out, and then he would write everything on the piece of paper. And it's very good to have a visual representation for myself, even for most men, I'd say, to just see and be like, ah, yeah, that makes sense. Diagram, boom, like simple. So yeah, just make it as simple as possible for you to snap yourself from the state of awareness, like into a state of awareness from that autopilot mode, and then just get what it is you actually want to get done. Like for me, it's okay, I need to spend as much time as I can to work on my business, right? So whenever I have a spare moment, I snap myself into awakeness, and I'm like, okay, what can I do right now if I've finished all of my tasks today? I'm on the schedule. I'm at like 5, 6, 7 p.m. I've got a couple more hours that I can use. What can I do to push the business forward that would matter for me to do right now instead of doing it tomorrow? And then just do that. Just do that. It's very simple. And yes, it is going to necessitate. It's going to ask you, it's going to demand of you a bit of grit and energy and mental fortitude. That is important. You need to remember that nobody's coming here to save you. I've told this to many people many times. And you are the only one who can get stuff done. You're the only one who can go get what it is you actually want to get. Nobody's going to get a girlfriend for you. Nobody's going to get you a fiance or wife or a luxury sports car or a shitload of money or build an empire or become some extremely renowned businessman or create a really high earning career for yourself and learn a skill. Nobody's going to do that for you. You have to do it yourself. So yeah. And then so the other thing is kind of tied into the snapping yourself into awakeness, is surrounding yourself with the type of people that will challenge your thoughts, challenge you to do better, challenge you to say like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like, shouldn't you be doing this? Like, shouldn't you be working on your business? Shouldn't you be working harder? Shouldn't you be landing deals? Shouldn't you be improving your skills right now? Shouldn't you be making more money right now? Shouldn't you be working on a relationship right now? Why aren't you in a relationship? When somebody says, why aren't you doing X? It stems from a lack of action on your part. That means that you are at fault. You're the only one responsible for what happens to you. So you need to take responsibility and accountability about what happens in your life. No more excuses. No more fucking saying like, oh yeah, but X, Y, and Z. Nobody cares about your excuses. And you should certainly not care about your excuses if nobody cares about them in the first place. Because if nobody cares, even if some people say, oh yeah, that's too bad, they might empathize with you, but they won't sympathize with you. They will not sympathize with you because it is useless. They do not care. Nobody cares about anybody. The only people who receive genuine care and like loving attention for in nothing in exchange are women and children. That's it. If you're a dude, if you're a full-grown dude, nobody fucking cares, bro. Like, the only thing they expect of you is to get a job, provide some value, and make a difference in your environment. That's it. You're subconsciously decided to do that. Like, people basically just decide for you. And if you don't live up to those expectations, well, you're just a fucking loser. You're a deadbeat. You're fucking... You fucking do nothing. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, wake up. Huh? Become more valuable. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, are you just gonna sit around all day and play video games? Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? This is what I hate. When I see people just... Oh, I have nothing to do, so I guess I'll scroll. Or I guess I'll go watch a movie or play a video game. It's like... Bro, how much value have you provided today? Actually think about that. How much value have you provided today to other people? Not fucking yourself. Not yourself. Because you could provide value to yourself, but like, what the fuck is the point if you're not going to provide value to other people as a consequence, as a result? You provide value to yourself. You improve yourself so that you can make the lives of other people around you better. You can create a family. You can create a legacy. You can make something that people remember you, like, from. I think a lot of people today have just disregarded that aspect and just sunk into a selfish state of, oh, I just want to do whatever I want. It's like, you can do whatever you want, but you can't complain in that case when somebody takes a decision for you. When somebody runs the politics and makes you angry. When your government takes a decision without your approval. You can't be angry because you gave them the option. You didn't fucking stand on the hill and say, no, I'm going to make the decision, you're not. You didn't become a politician to counter those politicians so that your life could be better. Now, I do not condone becoming a politician, but you understand the point. The point is, if you want something to happen in your life, you need to be the one to do it. You cannot complain all the time that others take decisions and then affect your life as a consequence. You gave them the choice. You gave them the power over your life by you doing nothing. By you doing nothing, you have chosen to do nothing. You have chosen to not improve your skills. You have chosen to not be valuable. You have chosen to be the kind of person that gives his power of sovereignty to someone else so they can decide for you. This is what voting is. Voting is you giving your power of sovereignty, of choice, of decision to someone else so they can make a decision for you. You don't have to do it. It's the same thing with leading. There's somebody that's been voted in. It's the same thing. You vote for one person so that person decides for you. Same thing. And if you're not happy about that, then it's your fucking fault, bro. You voted for that person. And if you didn't vote for that person, well, fucking do something about it. Stand up. Fucking wake up, bro. Nobody's gonna fucking do it for you. Like, I've spoken to a lot of different people, and I remember there were a few different people that were really fucking off the deep end and really, like, extremely deep in politics and fucking all this garbage. And one of them was, or is, still an anarchist. Now, what the fuck is an anarchist? An anarchist is somebody that does not believe in a power structure is someone that does not believe in morals, order, or any kind of sense of realistically right or wrong. He doesn't care. He just wants to do whatever the fuck he wants. That's an anarchist. Doesn't believe in God, doesn't believe in power structures, doesn't believe in leaders, doesn't believe in anything. He only believes in what he can see in front of him, and he only fucking does what he wants to do. That's not good for society. The problem is, a lot of people, and like in this case, like for instance, if we take that example of being an anarchist, it's like, basically, you either give your powers to someone else, or you have the power for yourself, and then you have to decide. You have to take into account that you either have the power. I was talking about this in the other video, another previous day. You either give your power to someone else, and they decide for you. In that case, it could be tied to politics. It could be tied to a workplace. It could be tied to relationships. And everybody makes decisions. And I don't know if you've ever played like a, what's it called? It's like a game where you're playing a story, and there's like a bunch of different timelines, and you have to choose what the characters do, and you have like multiple options, and your choices matter. And I don't remember what it's called, but it's a game basically where you're playing a story, and the story is dictated based on the decisions you make in the dialogues. And so if you chose a bunch of different dialogues, or if you chose nothing, that impacts your decisions in the long run. Like, if you chose to do nothing, something's bad gonna happen. But if you chose to do something and fight for that, well, you might be able to get a good ending. You know, it's the same thing in real life. It's the same thing with politics. It's the same thing with the workplace. It's the same thing with relationships. It's literally the same everywhere. Everybody picks either from their lower self or their higher self, and then from there they make a decision, and they have to live with the consequences of their actions. And there's a lot of people who live in fucking Lululand, and they think they can escape the consequences of their actions. You cannot. Reality will find a way to punish you for the actions you've committed. May they be good or not good. Everything that goes around comes around. I said this yesterday. If you fuck someone over, well, they might fuck you over in exchange. If you help somebody out, they might help you out in the future. If you give some food to someone else, he might give you food back later. So you realistically have to choose for yourself, what kind of person are you going to be, and what kind of life are you going to live? It's really that simple. So if I summarize the lower selves and the higher self, well, first you need to make sure that your energy is high as possible. If you don't want to be prone to the lower self, you need to be always thinking about your purpose, your goals, your stuff. Like, put pieces of paper on the fridge, above your bed, literally anywhere, so that you can remind yourself, yes, this is my goal, this is my purpose, so what can I do to improve that and to go closer to that? The other thing is eating good food, drinking more water, so having the vitals in check, sleeping adequately, making sure you get enough sunlight, exercising daily, that kind of stuff. So that way your energy levels are higher, so you can make a better decision for yourself. You can actually consciously say like, oh yeah, I'm going to choose this decision, even if it's harder in the long run. I'm going to do this because it's the right thing to do. And the other thing is surrounding yourself with an environment of people that are going to challenge you and push you towards that goal. If you're in an environment, like you've got 3 friends, you're in a house. Let's say you've got 5 friends. You're in an environment, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if these 5 people are constantly pushing you so that you can do better, in that case, you always strive to do better because you don't want to let them down. You've got that social element, you've got that personal element, and you've got literally everything. You've got inner drive and outer drive. So like the people around you are the external drive. They motivate you externally. And the inner drive is your own personal conviction, your own personal goals and feelings to motivate yourself. If you combine those two, you can do a lot of fucking things. You can do a lot more things than you actually think about. So 3 actionable takes would be making sure your vitals are in check, making sure you remind yourself on a daily basis what it is you actually want to do and what you want to get done, and work as much as possible on that. And the other thing is surrounding yourself with people that actually care. People that are going to push you in exchange for you pushing them. And it's a mutual exchange, so that way everybody's lives are better in the group. I hope these videos helps, and I hope these videos help you guys. Let's do proper English. And I really appreciate you watching all the way through to the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm happy to have a conversation with literally every one of you guys, answer any of you guys' questions, give some advice if you need it. And I wish you a great day, and I will see you around.